today in what's going on in Shayna's comment section, I am going to do something a little different today. It's going to be a lot of participation on all of our parts. So somebody, CP Productions 325, thank you for this prompt, requested I do a video about behavior and temperament of zodiac signs. Now, I'm going to mix this up a little bit. I'm going to be talking about what the boogas look like in each zodiac sign. Yes, I would love for all of the, please, I brought out the handy dandy notebook. I got my thoughts. But if you feel like I'm missing something, please let me know. But I need to do a couple of disclaimers first. Before the disclaimers, hi, for those who are new here, my name is Shayna. I'm a journalist. I talk a lot about decentering men, child-free living, the political implications and intersections of the two. If any of that, or more things, if any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, subscribe, all of that great stuff. Now for the disclaimers. One, I am not talking specifically about anybody's sun sign because I'm an astro girly. Right. So with that, I know that while the sun is important, it is not the main. It is not the only. Arguably, the rising sign is more important than the sun sign, but you don't know that until you get somebody's like birthday, time, location, all that stuff, right? So there's that. I think that people, and even if their rising sign isn't there, if you're looking at somebody's chart, they could have like their rising sign in Cancer, their sun in Taurus, and then they could have a Capricorn stellium. And it's like, oh my goodness, this person is giving Capricorn, right? So this is not to say to judge anybody by their sun sign because they could be giving something that you don't even know at first glance. You know what I mean? But that being said, ladies, you can't fully see that. I got some thoughts. And we're going to start at the beginning. There it is. Also, next disclaimer. I'm going to be tagging that video right up here, but not all men are boogas. Most men are boogas. I'm going to do a full video about what exactly is a booga, because I've gotten a couple people asking, like, Shayna, I get it, but also I got some questions. So what exactly is a booga? Right up there. And so if you need to watch that first and then circle back, watch this. I'll be tagging it whenever I tag it. So that, but once you know what a booga is, we're going to go through the boogas in the air in the zodiac sign. So we're going to start off with Aries. Now I feel like I have a decent amount of authority to talk about Aries. Why? Because I'm a Libra sun, which means they're my opposite. But also, my younger brother has an aggressive Aries stellium, and then my older brother is an Aries rising. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Now, do I think my brothers are boogas? No. Do I think that all men know how to speak booga? Yes. Once again, I go into that in this video. Moving on. Um, Aries boogas, very direct, might hurt your feelings, not necessarily intentionally, but they're impulsive. They don't think too good. It just comes out, you know? One of the least likely to lie, though, I will say. Why? Because of it. I think that they are more likely to be, once again, correct me if you think I'm wrong in the comment section. From what I have observed, though, I love astrology. It's a science of patterns, right? What I have observed from Aries boogas with a lot of Aries energy, is that they will they will tell you the truth in the least with the least amount of coup. I find that a lot of people, especially women that are attracted to men that date Aries, think, oh my God, similarly to Aquarius. I'll get to that later on. But it's a lot of, oh my God, but like I can change him. Oh my God, like he's just a little rough around the edges. He's just, if you don't leave that man alone. Moving on to Taurus. Now, as somebody that has a lot of Venusian placements, like I have two very prominent placements in Libra, I got nothing in Taurus. There is something, I can always tell when it's a Taurus man. And something just irritates my spirit. And literally every time that I've met a man, they've like wanted to, whether it's like French, and I think that I irritate their spirit too, because we just look at each other and we go, now, can they leave me alone? No. Why? I'm adorable. But whoever is attracted to this kind of man, just thoughts and prayers. Now, here's my notes on Taurus Booga, because if I'm being honest, the only Taurus men that I've met have been Boogas. They're very pretty. They're ruled by Venus. They're going to be very aesthetically, like generally very aesthetically pleasing, in a specific kind of way because they're particular. They're very particular about the way that they want to look, right? Now that could be like, ooh, ooh, or they be, but like whatever it is a very curated kind of look. It don't gotta make sense, but it makes sense to them, and that's all that matters. Um, and they say nonsense. I don't know what it is, but I find that in my experience, Taurus men, Taurus boogas, I'm gonna be more specific, tend to say the most nonsense. Like, honestly, even more than any of the air signs, Taurus boogas have a way of putting three paper clips and a shoelace together and making a ship that's full of holes. I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they do it. It's some kind of dumb witchcraft, but it happens every time. Once again, they're pretty. In my experience, they're gonna be pretty, but it's not my flavor, not my tea. Geminis. Do I need to say more? Do I really need to say more? Now, this I'm gonna say this is one of the signs that, in my personal experience, booga or not, they're chaos. Booga or not, they are chaos, especially if it's a man. I have I met a mentally sound Gemini man? That is the real question. Now, more specifically, if you're curious about what a booga looks like in Gemini, I recommend listening to the Risa Tisa saga. That man, Legion, named after all them demons with all them personalities, that is a quintessential Gemini booga. Now, as a fellow air sign, I feel like I have the authority to say this. Geminis are tied for the most likely to lie to your face. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, then you already know who's tied, but I'm gonna get to that later. Moving on, we got Cancer. Cancerous Cancer. These boogas will be mama's boys. They will have weird relationships with either their mothers or mothering, and then impose all of that onto women as a whole. If any booga is gonna cry, it's gonna be these. Now, I understand that there's that stereotype of like, oh, cancer is crying, ha ha ha, all of that stuff. All the cancer women that I personally know, they only cry when they're getting ready to fight. Out of all of the water signs, if a cancer woman starts crying, she can kill you. And the only reason why she's spying is to stop herself from catching a case. Now, back to the boogas. I find that Cancer boogas tend to be the most emotionally manipulative. They have a deep understanding. I'm not going to say understanding. They know the emotional vocabulary. It's not necessarily that they know what it means, but they have the words and they could mash them together like potato soup and just kind of serve it to you and say, yeah, I know feelings. And now we got Leo. We've got Leo. As an Aquarius rising, I tend to attract a lot of people that have strong Leo energy in the best way and also in the weirdest way. So let me just break down what a Leo booga is going to look like. And I don't even think I need to look at my notes for this one. They are going to be all, look at me, look at me. It's going to be giving mildly, I wouldn't say full blown infant in this kind of way, but mildly childlike and like, tell me I'm the biggest and the strongest and the fastest and the more importantly, the prettiest. I need to know I need you to tell, I'm the prettiest, right? You look at you, it's like that kid that keeps trying to do cartwheels, but keeps just falling on their face. And then they look back at mom and they say, yeah, you see that? I did it. I did it, mom. It's Leo Booga. That's just Leo Booga. And on top of that, I will say, out of personal experience, once again, if you believe that this is another sign, please tippity type it away in the comment section. But I do believe that Leo Boogas are the love bombing kings. Love bombing kings. And if I'm being honest, if I wasn't so neurodivergent, I would have fallen for it time and time again. Next up, we got Virgo. Now, Virgo women, y'all have a deep spot in my heart. My mom's a Virgo. All three of my oldest friends that I've known for over 20 years are all Virgos. Honestly, most of the men that I've dated have been Virgos. I recognize that they are terrorists to a lot of people. To me, I've had a pretty great time with them, but I also kind of I haven't come across a Virgo booga though. Or if I have, then I just didn't recognize that he was a Virgo. Um, once again, a booga can be a booga. I'm just naming the different flavors, right? So I'm gonna refer to my notes on this one because I don't have the personal lived experience of this. But here's my thoughts. A Virgo boogas will be perfectionists while being so far from perfect, and it will not make sense to them also. They will be the kind that I imagine says something nonsensical, hears themselves say it out loud, and then you're looking at them like, what? And then they're hearing themselves like, oh God, was that me? It was the spirit of Buka coming out of them, and then they heard it out loud and they go, oh my God, this is why I'm so far from that. And it just kind of creates that very anxious spiral within them. I also have a feeling that Virgo Boogas are constantly comparing not just themselves, but other people, especially women, to a bar, to like a standard person that does not actually exist. Like they don't actually have proof that this comparison, this if you're the A, they don't have proof that the B exists, but they're comparing everybody to that B. I don't know. They need a lot of help. This Libras. There is a reason why Libras are called Libras, especially the Boogas. They be lying like they exhale. It's like eat, breathe, lie, sleep, lie, get up, lie, go to work, lie. It's like they can't. It's fascinating. And as somebody with a lot of Libra placements, I can clock Libras pretty quickly, especially in the women. Like Libra women, when Libra women gather, we just go, oh my God, hi, do you want to be like, oh my gosh, I love your outfit. Oh my gosh, you look amazing. Where'd you get that from? We're talkers. We're talkers, and we just want to like gather the friends. We want everybody to be friends immediately. um, Libra men, not just Libra men, sorry. I keep saying not all men are boogas. A lot of them are, but not all men are boogas. Let me stick to my notes before I go off script. Libras. And wordy like a Gemini, but with the aestheticness of a Leo. That's what a Libra booga is. They got a lot of words. They got a lot of words and a lot of thoughts, and they're Libras in general have an issue with people pleasing, but an evolved Libra has faced that and has moved past that to be able to say hard yeses and hard nos create boundaries, right? Boogas don't have boundaries, they boogas. Oh, Jesus, they boogas. I would also like to say once again, this is my mild rant in the handy dandy notebook. Libra men in general, in my experience, always want to be the prettiest princess in the palace, and that just don't work for me because I exist. And I'm not gonna fight you to be a princess. Now, there are two kinds of boogas in the zodiac that I genuinely pray nobody comes across. Um, I know somebody that married a Scorpio booga, and she may or may not be in the process of getting a restraining order. So I'm gonna just read my notes here. God bless. It's in the book. Get a restraining order immediately. They are obsessive, emotional, and lack sexual discipline. I don't know if more words need to be said. Just run. Now, the next two I don't have any personal experiences with, but once again, we're using patterns, we're gathering things together, and putting it through the lens of booga. So for Sagittarius, here's my notes on a Sagittarius booga. Just buckle up for a wild ride. You know those rides at Six Flags where we see them in the news because the roller coaster popped a wheel and then people went flying? That's a Sagittarius booga. Now, mind you, they are also in that ride, hands up, going, whee! But you know that you're gonna die. You know it's not going to be pretty. But they're just here for a good time and a fun time. Oh, and I think that actually leads me into my next note. Oh yeah, also they got a not in a good way, they got a tongue like a whip. And it's not even, it's like the cart is before the horse because it just comes out. They can just say that the thing that'll just cut right to the point, but the thought is coming afterwards. The words are already out, the damage is already done. I would also like to say that those words don't even necessarily have to make sense. They're just out there. No thoughts. And if the thoughts are there, they'll be in the room with us in an extra 15 minutes. Um yeah, likely to make chaos for funsies. Now, this is the sign that I generally, especially when it comes to men in general, I've only dated one Capricorn guy. He was fine. I'm not amazing, not terrible. It was fine. Um, so personally, I have the least amount of experience with this one. So if you, but also I did make a poll on Instagram months ago where I asked people which sign terrorized them the most, and Capricorn won overwhelmingly. So, with that, if you have been terrorized by a Capricorn booga, please sound off in the comment section so that way I could have a deeper understanding of what this kind of chaos looks like. I honestly feel like probably shouldn't even speak on this because I really, and like the sign of Capricorn also confuses me a lot. Also, I have Capricorn in the 12th house. So, like, obviously, it's like shrouded in like in mystery, right? Um, so I would love to hear from people that have strong attachments, relation placements in Capricorn or who have experienced a Capricorn booga. Please inform me. Now we are almost done here. And as an Aquarius rising, I feel like I have a lot to say about this one. But for the sake of brevity, I will not go off script. If you want to be confused, then you have found your home in this kind of booga. They are also confused in themselves. They know that they are an enigma, but they also can't stop talking and trying to make them make sense to you, knowing they don't fully have a grounding in who they are, what their mission is, all of that, right? This is an Aquarius booga. You know what? I wrote some poetry in here about them. One second. It's like trying to talk to an emotionally constipated and broken Rubik's Cube. Why would you do that if you love yourself? I I don't, I love myself and I hope you do too. So if you come across, mind you, Aquarius men, I have many a friend that have been terrorized by an Aquarius man. Personally, I see them coming and I know that I can rant with them. They're interested, fascinating to talk to. Similarly with Sagittarius men, fascinating to talk to. But just that's all. That's all. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. And to wrap things up, Pisces boogas. Similarly to Geminis, do I need to say more? I only got one word under Pisces boogas. It's delulu. It's not even delusional. It is delulu. I don't know what world they're on. My father, is he a booga? If he wasn't so insane, and I do like, I recognize that people are very sensitive when it comes to that word. No, my father is clinical. My father is, his body is here, but his mind is in a much, I would vacation wherever his mind is. Honestly, I would get a timeshare over there. But that's Pisces Booga, and they are down. If you are down for the ride, they'll take you on the ride. But also, if you say I want to get off this ride, I am sorry, we're in Bali now. There's no return ticket. And you're like, what are you talking about? We're in Michigan. Pisces Booga. Thoughts and prayers for that one. um so those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. I would love to, do you agree? Do you disagree? Are there some points that I'm missing? Please tippity type them away in the comment section. Also, if any of this really resonated, I always appreciate a super thanks. No pressure, but Truly, always appreciate it. So yeah, that is all for now. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that sexy stuff, and I'll talk to you guys later. All right, bye.